Hello, YouTube. All right. After a really rough night trying to sleep in the micro camper that I had reconfigured for two people, I've given up on that for now. Although it's still in the future, so that's still a design, I guess, consideration, a mandatory design, because I want to be able to travel in this vehicle with my wife. So that means this whole side right here, that is the entertainment center side, the storage, will have to be relocated to outside the vehicle, because otherwise you don't have any storage. Essentially, in a small vehicle such as this, you're not going to be able to do a raised platform to sleep on. There's just not enough room. Now you can see, like, when I bend my knee, look at the space I still have. I have approximately like 3 feet of clearance here. So I can actually sit up now. I don't know if you saw last night's video where, even just trying to move up a couple inches, I hit my head on the ceiling. I actually have the ability to lay down now, and even putting my hand out, I can barely touch the roof. So this is a design that's a lot more comparable to the van, and I'm laying it, and it's already a lot easier. It's easier to get in and out. You don't have to like dive through a little tiny hole. It's almost like stepping into a car. You open the car and you slide in to sit down, but in this case you slide in to lay down. So you don't have to like jump through a little tiny hole. So it's already better in that regards. And just the fact that I can like sit up now. I can sit up and move around, and my feet is a little bit more comfortable going through, and I think I can rig it so I can put my head out that way if I want to look out the moonroof. So yeah, this is a lot better design. I appreciate everybody who took a moment to comment on the previous build. Good to see you on here, Timothy and Spider's Nest. Good to see you. I basically am going to go back to my original design, almost, with some modifications and stuff like that. But you can see it's a pretty nice design. I have the computer right now. I don't have the fans on because it'll make noise and stuff, but I basically have 3 fans still. I have the fan here. I have a fan that can be mounted up here, and I have the fan right there. I also have a light right there along the wall here that can be turned off. Let's turn that off right there. But basically, the only thing that changed was removing the platform and losing that platform. And of course, I gained some more space here for storage. So I have my calendar and temperature gauge and everything else. So it's back to the original design. And I'm looking at it, and I think really this is probably the best design you're gonna get for a vehicle like this. At least the best I could come up with. Timothy had an interesting design, though. He was saying that you could build a platform in the back and put storage on top, and then your feet can go under, which I hadn't considered doing before, but that would be a really neat design. Something to consider, if you wanted it. Like, what he's saying is, like, you build a platform here going across, and then you put your head up front so you have all the room and you can sit up, and you crawl in like from the front. You slide your feet in the back to sleep. But then back here you would have storage up here on top. So it's like inverted. It's actually pretty neat thinking. So I don't think I'll do that, because I have to, I have some other requirements. Like, this vehicle has to function like a normal vehicle. It has to carry my kids when we have visitation and stuff. So the way it is right now, it's pretty much the same as previously, but let me get out and give you a better view here. I do have the little old laptop here hooked up with an emulator running Super Nintendo. You can watch the monkey there. Hello, Elizabeth. Good to catch you on here. So let me show you what it currently looks like. You can see I was able to sit up, and I can just come out like that, just like you would in a car almost. So in that way, it's a lot easier. But this is what it looks like coming in. You've got the seat area here, which is basically one sleeping bag, and it can fold up. So when it folds back up, you got a little table here. What's kind of interesting is I did put in the refrigerator over here. So it does have the little refrigerator. It's not hooked up right now, but when it is hooked up, I might even try to hook it off the solar and see if it'll run off the solar. I can have like cold drinks in here. So it's got a little refrigerator. I was able to put the table back there by wedging it in, but I haven't been able to mount the seat, you know, the foldable seats and stuff. I still haven't found out where I can put it nicely. Maybe potentially up under here and stuff. But remember, it's got to be where you can put it up, and then when you need it, you can get it out. But then the vehicle also has to be configured so that it can carry people. So there's a lot of weird requirements I have for this vehicle. But I think this is going to do. It looks like it'll work. I might try to sleep in it tonight just to see if it's more comfortable. I can already tell it's more comfortable. Just the fact that I didn't have to squirm, you know, to get in and out. And I'm like sore from last night when I had to twist and do weird stuff. So you got all this room here. And I did do it with the roof shut, but because the drapes are now like this, what I'm going to need to do is mount some kind of holder to attach it up here so it doesn't like hit you in the head. So, you know, when you sleep, it'll be like sticking up like this. It won't hit you. And what else? That's pretty much it. Just you got more storage. I was able to get another additional storage unit here. The bathroom is right here. The way this works right now, normally you wouldn't have the computer hooked up. I'm just hooking it up to show you, you know, the configuration in office mode. But this would all be put up and inside the bag, you know, so it's out of the way. But this thing comes out. See, this, it just slides out, and that's the toilet. So if you need an emergency toilet, you can just grab it and then just slide it over and use it. So you don't have to rip apart your whole bed like previously and move the panel, because even though it's doable, it wouldn't have been very pleasant like in the middle of the night. The other thing is like access to these cabinets. Two of them face that way, but one faces this way, so you can access stuff from in here. You know, you just gotta lift this up a little bit. But if you need to access these other two, you can go through the top, because this whole panel, it slides out. It just slides forward and out, so you get access down, okay? But that means the computer obviously can't stay on like this. And you normally wouldn't have it like this if you're in traveling. You know, you'd set this up once you camped out somewhere. And some of you are like, why would you have a computer and all this elaborate stuff? Well, with the computer, you could run movies. So instead of carrying like a gazillion DVDs or whatever, you could have all your movies on, you know, digital format, and you can run movies through the TV. And this functions as a TV as well as a video game console. So, you know, it's an all-in-one entertainment system. And with the computer, you could surf the web and whatnot. I suspect if I really wanted to, I could make room and have a printer out here, and then, you know, a laser printer. And then I can have like an office that's portable, so I can do work. So that might be an option, is to try to figure out where I would put the printer. So I do have a laser printer, but you know, that could take up space. But basically, I do like this design. I think it's doable. Now, what's interesting is I am planning to probably build a custom unit up here, because even though all this stuff works right now, and it allows the vehicle to be stealth, you know, like a single person could sleep and travel in this and live in it. I know I can live in this. This is just slightly smaller than Little Blue, but in some ways better than Little Blue, because you have that side panel where you can have an office without ripping apart everything. But what I'm going to do is probably build a custom holder up here so that you can haul stuff like clothing and items you don't need all the time. Basically, all the items that you see there, every single one of these things here have to be able to fit up here on this top part, because this whole bottom part, you really want to leave it open for the bed. And that way two people, I think two adults, you know, it's going to be a tight squeeze, but two adults can sleep in here when you don't have that platform there. You know, so that is what I'm looking to do, to turn this into a two-person micro camper. But for now, for maximum functionality, you know, as far as for one person, it can stay in this configuration. And the reason it's important that it works in this configuration is you get the stealth factor. You don't have to have all this stuff up here. Even the solar panel that's here right now, it's not necessary, but it's nice to have. You know, it just keeps the battery system totally topped off. And it's not, you know, your vehicle doesn't look too much like I mean, somebody has to really notice the solar panel. They have to be looking. Then they could tell somebody's probably living in it. You know, so, but even if they weren't, they could look and see curtains and stuff. Those are kind of giveaways. But you don't want to draw, like, you know, a lot of attention to yourself. So when you shut this and everything, it looks like a normal car. Except for the little solar panel thing, which, like I said, it's optional. So I am going to try to see if I can build a cheap, you know, cheap is the operative word, holder up here to hold things. And then trying to figure out how I'm going to do it. Could possibly buy one of those used ones that they sell, the little plastic ones. But I'm trying to avoid paying a lot of money. You know, but whatever's up here has to be waterproof, because I'm thinking you're probably going to want to pack like some clothes and shoes and things like that up here. And it has to be easy to access. It has to be basically everything that you see down here, because all of this goes away. I'm concerned about the table. That might have to go. You know, might not be possible to pack a table. I mean, it is if it's really critical, but with the space and the situation, I think it's going to be better to skip the table, because we still have the dining table and stuff, you know, like this one here that goes up front. So if you had to eat inside, you could do that. If you had to cook inside, you could do that. The way it's configured right now, the kitchen is mainly for up front for single person. When you have 2 people or when I have passengers, that goes back here for storage again. You know, it just hauls back here in this back section. And it can even go into the back area if I have to have 3 people in here. But right now, you can't have 2 people sleeping in it, because that whole other section, you know, it's taking up all that space. So tell me what you guys think. I took your, I was reading your comments and stuff just to get ideas as I was finalizing what I was doing here. And I think this is going to work, you know. It pretty much, if you look at it, it's pretty much what the original design was going to be, you know, for a single person. So Elizabeth wants to know if the bed is big enough for 1 or 2. Present bed is only big enough for 1. But if I remove all that section, you know, that office side, 2 people can fit in it, 2 adults. But it's going to be a really tight squeeze. So, you know, you pretty much use it to sleep. You don't want to hang out in it too long, because it gets hot, even with the fans and stuff. But this thing can open all the windows. So I may try to figure out what to do with, like, no-see-ums and stuff like that, putting netting up and things. So you might see some of those. It also, of course, has the roof. You know, this thing actually pops up, so I can get some ventilation that way too. Now, interestingly, this front seat's not really used much. Like the way it is right now, my feet come through, and it actually sits up here, so it's not too bad. And it can flip back up. So, you know, for a single person mode, it could stay like this. And if you were playing games or whatever, you could potentially just pull the seat up. I haven't done it yet, but you could pull the seat up and then you have your little office mode, just like before. It hasn't really changed much. It's just, it looks different because the platform's gone and the bed's no longer taking up the whole area, you know. So it looks different, but it's really essentially the same. I only took out this part right here. And it was pretty easy. There's a part right there. It's pretty easy to do because it's modular, you know. I can, like, take this out. So it takes like maybe 5 or 10 minutes to configure this. So, you know, the only thing that was really built was that front area there that holds everything. But even this is not screwed in. It slides, see? It slides in and out. The whole thing slides. And I got little guide rails there to hold it in place. And this thing's just sitting on top. And the only reason for even putting it there is just to give it that cohesive wooden look. So it looks like it all belongs together, you know? And I think it's kind of neat having that little ledge sticking out. Gives it a little bit of a design. Even though I didn't really do much, I just started, you know, it's almost like playing Tetris, just putting things in. So by going modular, I'm able to move things in and out. And I'm hoping that I can take that out and put it up here with my my cabinet system. So I don't know. May have to give up the drawers and stuff. And just go with, like, backpacks or suitcases full of clothes and things like that. I don't know. But it would be stored on top for travel for 2 people. And then the bottom, basically, it's just a bed, you know. All you can carry in there really is a bed. Maybe a couple little small storage cabinets if I manage to squeeze them in somehow along the walls. But for the most part, the whole surface area has to be the bed. And what I learned through all this was this height is very important. The vertical height for your bed you probably need at least 3 feet. If you do not get 3 feet for your vertical height, it's going to be very uncomfortable. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have some other comments for suggestions for improvements and things that I can do to make it better, please make sure you let me know. I'm still finishing things up. But sadly, I don't know if you guys noticed, I lost the fishing poles. They can sit here for storage and stuff, so you have to kind of lay it down. But it doesn't have like convenient storage like it did before. So I had to move out the fishing poles. What I'm going to do is when I build my rack up here, the top roof rack, the solar panel is going to go on top of the roof storage. And then fishing poles can stick on the outside. That way they just, you know, they don't take up any space inside. So it'll have storage for fishing poles and things, but all of that's going to be outside. You know, things that you use for outdoors, like, well, I might even make a raft or something that you can carry up there, you know, so you can go rafting or boating or something, you know, a little tiny float. So basically, things that you don't use that often or things that are for outdoors type stuff like tents and things like that can go on the roof. And then in here, it's just living, you know, and you might have a little area for clothing. But obviously, if you're in a little vehicle like this, you can't have too much clothes, you know, because space is a premium. So I appreciate all of you for being here. Andres, good to see you. MoBang says, big plastic bin that equal to those bins, move it to the roof when sleeping. Well, there you go again with moving things. My experience has taught me you really don't want to have to move things around too much, if any, because it might be okay if you do it once or twice when you're testing it, but if it becomes an issue of doing it daily, you don't want to deal with it. That's why having the toilet accessible like that, you know, that's just a piece of wood sitting on top of it. So I just pull the thing out and it's usable. There's no setup. And what I want to do up here is make it so that there's potentially drawers or something that can pull the stuff out. I'm trying to make it so that you don't have to move anything. And I know it seems like, you know, it's making the design a lot more difficult, and it is making it more difficult, but it's making it more practical because, you know, you don't want to have to, every time you want to do something, you got to move everything around. And if you have to do that, then you're not going to want to do it. So by making everything have a home and it stays there and it works the same way, you're guaranteeing that it's going to be a lot more usable. All right, I'm going to go ahead and sign out. I do appreciate all of you. Country Van Life says a drain pipe tube on roof for poles would be good. Yeah, I'm considering getting one of those, what is it, ABS or whatever, those plastic pipes. Trying to get one, but don't want to spend too much money, so you can get short pieces and you stick the pole through. But the problem is then the pole gets exposed to the sun and the rain and stuff. So if you make it big enough, get a big one, you know, that you can hold everything in, that would be better. But then you lose aerodynamics and it looks kind of ugly. It's going to be a balance. I'm trying to figure out how I want to do this. I do not want to spend a lot of money as the first priority. But the second thing is I don't want it looking gaudy. I don't want it looking ugly, you know. So it has to look halfway decent. Like even this layout, you know, it's like some people say, why do you worry so much about how things look? Because it's kind of like a home. I want it to make it look like, you know, I'm in my living room or whatever, and things aren't just thrown in there. That it has a table, it has drawers, it has dressers. I may even paint all this and make it look nice in the end. So we'll see what happens. All right, I sure appreciate all of you for joining me. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Andres, and everybody who participated. MoBang. Look forward to your trip here coming up soon. If you haven't already subscribed to MoBang for your bucks, make sure you go over to his channel. He's got some really interesting content, and he's in the process of getting ready to test his vehicle out. So look forward to that. So until next time, everyone, take care. God bless you all. Please stay safe, and have a wonderful night. Bye-bye now.